Hey there! Welcome back to the Mothcast, a podcast about video games and how a couple of moths feel about them. The game for episode 44 is called Ghostrunner, a cyberpunk first-person speedrun style game where you're a cyborg ninja versus lots of guys with guns. Run over here on the walls and let's get into the podcast. All right. The game this week is called Ghostrunner.
Ghostrunner.
Oh, my fucking.
I just want to start by saying, I'm sorry, Jimmy, but,
spoiler alert, we hated this game.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Not at all.
It was not fun at all. It was very rage-inducing, and not, like...
In a fun way.
In a fun, like, oh, haha, my bad. I, messed up, and I'm mad about it. No, this was a, fuck you, forever kind of angry.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so let's just describe the game so that if anybody decides to listen past this point, they'll know what we're talking about. Ghostrunner is a first-person melee cyberpunk. What would you say, like hack and slash?
It kind of.
Let's see here. Ghostrunner.
It is technically a hack and slash because you don't really like shoot.
Yeah, not really. Let's see what the store has to say about it. Diverse characters. It says genre action shooter. Sure. Yeah. So you're a guy with a sword who goes and kills people with guns. And you're like a cyborg robot man, and like that's the game.
Yeah, it says fast-paced violent combat.
Yes.
Which I guess technically counts because it is fast-paced and violent.
It is violent and it is combat. Like all of those things are true.
Cuz like it's like a I guess you could say a reactionary kind of game.
Kind of.
Supposed to be like a fast reaction game.
Yeah.
It is in fact only like that on the surface.
Yeah. Okay, so before we like get into all that, because there are some ways to describe this game that I'm going to be as fair as I objectively can be, even though I want to throw this game in the trash can.
I'm going to try as well, but
I'm going to give it its accolades first. First of all, this game is gorgeous. It looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
It runs incredibly well. And like absolutely no notes on visuals, right? The graphics in this game, immaculate.
They're pretty good. Yeah, I agree.
The enemies are all pretty visually distinct. There is like the one complaint I would have that is like graphics based is that there's like, if you're a gamer, you know what the yellow paint means. And there's a lot of it in this game. That's my biggest complaint. Come graphics wise.
It is a very like yellow brick road kind of game. Yeah,
like it talks about how there's like, oh man, if you're going at an enemy and that way isn't working, there's probably alternate ways to get there.
I mean, like, technically there is. In several combat, of the places, there's like a set area that there are enemies hanging out in, and there are several different ways to come at them. But when you're just going through the game, there's literally one way to go. But
it's like even in the places where it's just platforming, it's yellow brick road, yellow paint everywhere, yellow lines, arrows pointing ways. If you're not supposed to go away, there are literally signs that say stop. Like, are you kidding me right now, dude? Like, these game makers are whenever I see, and this is like honestly the most egregious of any of this like behavior than I've ever seen. Whenever people put this in their games, what they're doing is they don't trust. It's one of two things. They don't trust the players to make their own decisions on what way they want to go. And so they put in the paint. They're discouraging you from exploring. They don't want you to look around. They want you to run forward along this path. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the alternative is they didn't have this. They sent it to QA testers and they got a very frequent response. And that response was, we can't find a way through.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Which, actually, from my, like, playing the game experience, I think it was the second one.
Yeah, I can see it.
Because there were actually a few times where I was, like, looking around, and I'm like, hold on, wait. Where's the next, like, yellow
area
spot?
to go?
Oh,
yeah, and, like, that's the other thing is, like, they train you into looking for these yellow things, so if they lapse even for a second,
you're just like, oh,
you're
wait,
like,
what?
I am lost. My brain is broken. What do I do? And so, like, just, like, why? If you're going to do this, if you're going to make it so that, like, it's a linear game like this, which it is, make it linear, you know? Like, make it so that people can't get lost. It's I don't know. I like there's so many ways that you can do this. Like, I understand that they were trying to make it so that this that it's like a place that you would actually go, like it, you know, there's portions where you're in like the city or whatever and you're jumping on roofs and going back and forth between buildings and stuff. And like they're trying to make it so that it actually looks like, you know, it could be a place. But like you can still make it linear without like messing with our heads the entire quote unquote 7-hour experience. You know?
7 hour, yeah.
I don't know. I would have to count up how many
actually,
like things.
I have 7 hours and 46 minutes on
Oh
here.
wow, okay. That's almost 7 hours.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
To be fair, I guess we should mention this now. Okay, so we got this game on the Epic Game Store. It might be different. Yeah, for free, thankfully. It might be different on the Steam store, but this game has a serious issue with saving. It just won't keep saves. I don't know.
I managed to keep my save between like play sessions. What you have to do is you can't quit the game from like the escape menu while you're playing. You can't just quit the game from there, or else it doesn't save. You have to go back to the menu and then quit the game from there. So it's like, it's a question of why even have the quit game option while you're playing?
Yeah, I don't know.
If it doesn't save like that, then what's the point?
Right. Yeah, I have no idea. All I know is that I lost.
It's a little like janky of a save option, but like once I figured it out, it wasn't a problem anymore.
Yeah,
still, not how you want to do it.
I lost all my time. I'm pretty sure you said you redid the beginning parts of your.
I did. I played. It was like the first 3 levels or whatever, and I just simply, because I knew everything, I just did it.
Yeah,
quickly.
No, I said fuck that because it was like the first 6 levels for me. I said fuck that and I downloaded a full game patch. So like full disclosure, if you see that on the screen, that's why. I did not want to replay the beginning because
I get it.
Unlike Tim, who had an okay time in the beginning of the game.
The beginning of the game was okay.
I did not. I was not a very happy camper going through like the first few levels. I thought like right off the bat, I had like just tons of problems with this game.
Like,
oh,
for me, it was the beginning of the game was great. I had fun at the beginning. The Cyber Void were still like, you know,
really stupid.
kind of stupid and boring, but um, anyway, like it was all right at the beginning. As it got on further, of course, games, they're supposed to get harder, but
Yeah.
not unfairly so,
Yeah. And this definitely it definitely pushed into the territory of unfair. Now, you could say, if you're a fan of this game, that it was definitely fair. You just need to get good. And
Yeah.
the vast majority of people talking about this game either had the perspective of, wow, this game is kind of annoying to play, and I didn't really like playing it for that long, so I just stopped playing it. Or, I loved this game. It was a great speedrun game, and I enjoyed it. And if you didn't like it, you just need to get good. It's like, oh, so
I mean,
we're
yeah,
like,
if you're the kind of person who like doesn't get like super frustrated very easily, it's great. Or if you like these kind of speedrun games,
but like we've played these kind of. I told you before, we've played these kind of speedrun games in the past on
yeah,
this like podcast series. We played what was the game called?
Severed Steel.
Yeah, Severed Steel. We played Severed Steel. I loved Severed Steel. I
Severed
enjoyed the
Steel was
crap out of it.
amazing.
Yeah, but like there are some things in Severed Steel that like fix a lot of the problems that this game has.
Because I
Like,
think
please, people who made this
what the
game, take notes.
what the main problem for me is why it was so frustrating was because you don't get any, and I mean none, like any kind of flexibility in mistakes.
Yeah. Well, okay,
Zero.
okay. Hang on.
Nada.
Yes, you're correct. Like we're getting into gameplay, I guess, right now.
Sorry,
So
yeah,
we'll
okay,
we'll
that's
talk
fine.
about music after gameplay. Like it's fine. Just to wrap up the graphics section, like 9 out of 10, glorious graphics, loved
Excellent
it.
graphics.
Like, keep
Quick
up that.
note on the graphics though. Unfortunately, I had to turn mine down.
Oh.
Because it was quite laggy. That might be my computer.
Yeah. Mine was perfectly fine. So.
I haven't actually dusted it in a while.
Oh yeah, you should dust it.
I need to
Please
do that.
not set it on fire. Burn out all of your nice parts.
It got quite toasty while playing. That's fine. But
anyway,
that's not on the game's fault. That's probably my fault.
So as we have sort of alluded to, there is no flexibility in mistakes. You have one hit, you take one damage, you die. That's the game, right?
Yes.
This is genuinely the way that I would describe this game is I want to be the guy, but 3D at times. Right? Because like you only can get hit by one thing. There are traps, there are things that you need to go and experience in order to know that they're coming, right? You cannot look at a thing, be good, rely on twitch reflexes to know to be able to like beat a section of the of each game. You basically have to trial and error it until you win.
Yeah, like some kind of bullcrap like that. Yeah.
Well, because comparing it to Severed Steel again, you could look at a room in Severed Steel and it'd be like, I'm gonna tackle it this way, and I'm gonna run on this wall, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna win. And you could do that first try. With this, it's like, oops, haha, there's a guy with a laser gun that shoots faster than you can respond around the corner that you didn't see. Tee hee hee. Oops, you died. Ha ha ha. Guess you're gonna have to try again. Yeah. Like,
and it's even worse because like there are some sections that are like huge.
Yeah.
With like
with
like 10 enemies in it, and it's like, oh, okay, hold on, you gotta kill all these enemies, but if you happen to mess up right at the end, You gotta do the whole section again.
Do the whole thing again.
The whole thing.
Yep.
All over.
Which, like, I don't want to complain too much about the fact that, like, it resets your progress every time, because clearly that is the intended nature of the game. The way that I saw somebody describe it, and like if you've listened to any of these podcasts, you'll know that I don't really look at any social media or reviews before the end of the game, and I've done it this time because, like, wow, just so frustrated. And I've seen this game get so many good reviews, and I just don't see it.
Yeah, like, I also wanted to like this game. It was just so frustrating.
Yeah. The way that I saw somebody describe it was that each room is like a puzzle, and you have to, like, complete the puzzle in an order that works for you. Yeah. And in order to move on. And I think that's accurate.
That makes sense.
But, like, here's my criticism. If I have a puzzle that goes together multiple different ways, right? That puzzle is not going to explode if I put it together in a way that the game has deemed, like, wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's also going to be the same puzzle pieces going through each time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Assuming it does blow up every time I fail. However, this game, its little, like, AI on the guys with the guns, they're, like, actually kind of smart. They track you really well. So, like, you can do,
like, extremely well.
Yeah. You can do something similar or the same each time you do the puzzle. Yeah. But the enemies might do something completely fucking different.
They'll just do it different. Yeah,
or, like,
I noticed that too.
Oops, I accidentally shot one time out of 30, like, and I killed you, even though, like, I was never over there. I just happened to accidentally see you this time. It's like, what?
Like, why? Why did this happen? What happened? What is this? What's going on?
Like, why exactly did the people who made this game decide that we have to create this incredibly, like, complex experience where, but it's a puzzle game? You know what I mean? Like, like, this is not a very enjoyable puzzle.
No.
Another thing that I saw people say is, like, they compared it to, like, people who were, I guess, negatively reviewing the game, is that, well, negative and positive, whatever, is like Dark Souls. Like Dark Souls, whenever you complete a section, you feel an immense amount of, like, not like relief, but like happiness. Like, I did that. Like, oh man, I executed that so perfectly. It was amazing. But, like, I didn't get that at all.
No, I got a more of a, oh my god, finally, fuck that part.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, it just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
Oh, man. The fucking robots, man. Those are the worst things.
Yeah,
I hate those fuckers.
I'll
take any enemy. Oh, okay, maybe not the explodey guys. Those things are even worse. So bad. Okay,
so, like, let's talk about the enemies then. Since the robot guys, we can pretty much mutually agree that they're fucking trash. The only reason why I would say that the robots are worse than the explodey guys that we'll talk about is because you don't have to kill the explodey guys.
No, you can kind of just, like,
run away from them, which is fine.
Yeah, the robots are just fucking a pain in the ass to get close to.
All right. So the first enemy that you come across is this guy with a little pistol, right?
He got a gun.
He just got a gun. He just shoots his little laser bolt. And in this game, the vast majority, not all, obviously, because, you know, fuck you, that's why. Not all bullets travel super fast, or lasers travel like hit scan, right?
Yeah.
So you can see these rounds, these lasers, and the way you get around it, because if you literally just, like, run at the enemies, you will just die. You'll literally die every time.
Yep.
Like, it's not even a question of, like, Oh, maybe it's
Can you
like if
be
you
faster than they shoot? No, you'll just
no,
die.
you do die. Like you have to use the mechanics in the game, or you will just die
Which
every time.
is
You won't make
is
it
why
past the
they're there,
tutorial,
obviously.
which is why they're there.
But
Yeah, yeah. But I
anyway,
like, oh man, um, the the thing that we're talking about is if you what was it, like shift? You press a
yeah,
button
you
and
hold shift.
it sends you into this definitely not bullet time.
It's definitely bullet time.
Okay, but
They
like
explain it different, but it is.
yeah, but okay, like definitely not bullet time that allows you to like drift
Dodge.
left and right in order to get around the enemy. But if
Yeah,
you
'cause,
mistime it, because it doesn't last forever, it only lasts for like a little bit of time. If you mistime it, they'll just
you
shoot
still
you
die.
as soon as you get out. Because guess what? The AI tracks you the entire time you're bullet timing,
Yes.
which means like it makes for the most janky bullet time experience where like you're not really going faster. You're just pretending you're going faster. And the
Yeah,
enemies are agreeing to not kill you while you're quote unquote bullet timing. If it was really bullet time, you would be able to like zip right next to them and they would die. But that's not what this is.
no.
This is pretend bullet time.
Yeah. The real bullet time comes up as a power-up later.
I mean, which one are we talking about?
The like slowdown. Or I guess they explain it as you going super fast.
Are we talking about the first
The
ability?
the little hourglass. No, not the
Oh,
active abilities. The little
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
temporary power-ups.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about those when we come to them.
But yeah, another thing quickly about the bullet time,
quote unquote.
uh, you can only activate the bullet time while you're in the air.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a dash.
It's just a dash. So if you like bump into a wall, sometimes you'll just dash. If you like accidentally hit one of the very detailed textures that are littered everywhere, you'll
You
just
just
dash.
stick to it. You just
Oh,
that's another
okay.
thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you touch any wall anywhere, you just stick to it.
Yep.
You just start running on it. And it's just like, no. And if you accidentally happen to like brush against it while you're trying to fall somewhere, you stick to the wall and start running.
Yep.
And it's just like,
that's
no, I
also a
wanted to
mechanic.
drop on the enemy. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, that's also a mechanic. You're meant to be able to just stick to walls and run along them. That's like sort of a selling point to the game.
That's like
supposed
the
to
main
be
thing. It's
like a robo ninja with a sword.
yeah, you're like wall running the whole time while avoiding enemies and killing them. Anyway, like another thing, if you happen to like are in the midair bullet time, you like dash to the left or right. If you dash to the left or right into a wall, you'll again start running on it.
Yeah.
And it like it fucked me up so many times.
Number of times. Number of times I died to
the
that.
number of times you just like graze a wall and start running on it was insane.
Like, my favorite is if you start running on a wall that you're not supposed to run on, or like the game doesn't really want you to. And so it's like textured. It's got like boxes and like other things. The game will be like, oh, a wall, oh, a ledge, oh, a wall, oh, a ledge. So you'll do this weird
because
dance.
You can like climb up ledges too.
Yeah, you do this like weird dance, like up and down, and then you just fucking die if there's an enemy nearby, because like you can't jump anywhere.
You can't do anything. You're like stuck between like messing around, and you just die.
Oh,
several times while I'm falling off of like into the pit because I messed up.
Yeah.
I'll just stick to the wall of the pit and it just start like can I just let me die? I want to die faster so I can try this shit again.
Yeah.
And it's just like running along the pit and just like, well, fucking okay. I mean, sometimes I've been able to recover.
Yeah, there was
like
a few
run
times
along the
that
side
I did too.
because you can basically spam the dash almost. And like you can kind of dash upward, so it's like if you run and dash upward back into the wall higher, you can like kind of climb, but like it doesn't work every time.
Yeah. It's
And then once
pretty.
you manage to recover, you don't know where you are, and you just get shot anyway. So
The like ultimate thing with all of this ranting is that like all of the mechanics that are supposed to define this game in this particular installment, because there is a second game, that we will never ever I will literally never spend money to play it. I'm sorry.
I don't think I will either. I apologize.
It just makes for an extremely janky experience. You know?
Yeah.
Like I want to be like, wow, the movement in this game is really fluid. Because at first it feels like that, you know? Like you're running along, you jump on a wall, you run along the wall,
You're
you
like, wow,
slide down a
cool.
hill.
This is awesome. You slide down, you know, slide while sliding, you get speed, and if you jump while sliding, you go really far, etc.
Right. Yeah,
It's like,
but
wow, that's cool, and you can
I
in
don't
the
know.
air a little and dodge the bullets coming at you, and you dash at the enemies and kill them, and that's really neat.
But
Longer you
like
go,
it just becomes worse and worse. It really does, because
it gets like more janky
yeah.
because like different surfaces and
Well, it's
different
just that
layouts and etc.
they like keep introducing more things, and the more things just mess with everything previous that you have. And so it
Mhm.
just becomes worse. And like I don't really know how to fix that problem other than figure it the fuck out. Like how did this get past playtesting? I don't understand.
I don't know.
I would really genuinely like to know in the comments if anybody listens to this and love this game. I need you to tell me why. I need you to tell me why that isn't a like
Yes, please.
it's a really fun fast experience, because I've got a response to that. I'll cover it. We'll get there. We were talking about enemies. I just want to go over them pretty quickly through like in the order that you see them. So obviously there's the little pistol guy that shoots his one little bolt, blam blam blam.
One,
and then there's machine gunner guy who shoots, I didn't count them, but it's something like
it's like a
8
bunch.
to 10. It's like maybe it's like 10 bullets really fast.
Yeah, it's a bunch.
You can't dodge this guy. Contrary to what you think you have to do, you have to like run on a wall near him and he'll just miss everything, and then he has to reload. And then you
he
can
runs
just
out of
like
ammo and
run at him
just
and he
kill him.
dies. Cool. Who was next? Melee guy?
I think it's melee guy.
Yeah, so it's like a big
They
melee
just
guy.
like jump at you.
Yeah, they jump at you, and if you stand still and don't dash, you die. You just like dash a little, they hit the ground, you stab them. Cool.
I mean, you can time it to where you can just kill them out of midair, but it is
really?
actually quite difficult. I did it once.
That's
where
fantastic.
they jumping on you and you can just kill them while they're in the air. I did it once. I was never able to do it again. So I just dodge out of the way or run out of the way and just kill them.
It's not worth like resetting your progress if they're like the last enemy. You're like, I'm gonna do some flourish. It's like, nope, go fuck yourself.
No,
you die.
Yeah, no, go fuck yourself. Exactly.
I'm
Because
not
as
gonna
we
die
said,
to the easiest enemy in the fucking game.
there's no forgiveness in mistakes.
Yeah.
Like you mess up one thing, you have to just die.
Okay, who
so
was
it's like
after that?
It's either perfect or nothing.
Was it the sword guys, or was it the guy with the shield?
The shield, I think.
Okay, so there's like a bigger, chunkier guy, and he's got like a little laser shield. And you have to sort of dodge around him and stab him in the back.
Yeah, he shoots
three times.
Like 3.
Yeah, he shoots 3 times in quick succession, and then like I don't know if it's like reloading or like he just slows down, but it gives you a chance to dodge behind him, which is nice. He's actually one of the easier enemies, fortunately. Unless you're in like a hallway and then it's like,
He's
oh,
not.
I guess, fuck. Okay. Anyway.
He's not. But whatever.
You didn't like him?
I didn't like him at all. They suck.
Yeah, I didn't have a hard time with him almost ever, unless it was like a small area, but usually they're out in the open. So you just kind of like run at them, they miss, and then you use the bullet time and you sort of just kind of like go to the right, and then you go around them and you go stab and they die.
Yeah, and then there's times where if you misjudge how around the shield you are, you dash
bounce
into
off
the shield.
Yeah, no, of course.
Die.
Yeah, like there's a level of jank with every enemy, especially ones that have like an invulnerability state. Which is our beautiful, lovely next enemy, sword samurai guy.
Yeah.
So the way you beat him is the game has to like tell you, because it's like completely unlike any other enemy in the game.
It literally is.
You have to use your basic attack button to parry them.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't do this in with any other enemy.
No. Rephrase that. It's not required for any other enemy. You can do it. You can parry bullets and reflect them back. You can do this for every.
Yeah, you can parry bullets and reflect them back if
enemy.
If you take the thing.
Time it right.
No, if you take the thing that allows you to do it in your little skill tree that I never fucking used.
The little that what you're talking about is the deflect. That's when it goes back to the enemy. You can still parry them without that. It just won't deflect the bullet back. It'll just block the bullet.
Yeah, maybe that would make this game significantly easier.
But you still have to time the fucking parry.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about like thinking about timing the parry for these shitty tiny bullets that have like the smallest, like they're tiny, you have to plus that adds like an entire level of jank where I'm like, I would rather put my brain energy into trying to get around these assholes and stab them in the fucking throat rather than like, I'm gonna deflect this bullet until I kill you. It's like, no, because if I fuck up one time, I know I'm gonna get really mad and I'm gonna like stop playing the game.
Yeah.
So,
and of course anger is the enemy of progress, because the more angry you get, the worse you play.
Yeah.
Anyway, the samurai guys.
Yeah, so samurai guys, you have to like kind of parry them. They get knocked back, and you can stab them. No problem. The only problem.
Otherwise, if you try to attack them while they're not attacking, you just bounce off.
Yep, forever.
But also, you get flung backwards. Like 5 million miles.
But like super far. Like if you're anywhere near an edge, you just die.
You just die.
You're
like
gone.
I don't.
It's like very silly.
Like a damn trampoline on the side of the wall or something. I don't know. Fuck.
Who came after the samurais? I guess maybe like the flying robots.
Yeah, I think so.
They're like these little flying robots where if you jump on top of their heads, you like stab into them, and then you can sort of aim them,
like ride them.
Yeah, you like ride them, and then if you can like, the idea is you ride them in a direction and then jump off, and they explode when they hit that area. And so they set them up in such a way that like you can ride them into where the enemy is standing, but like I never got it to work. The enemies just moved.
Yeah, they just got out of the way, or the explosion wasn't big enough, and then they just shoot you.
Sometimes, like, I would watch the thing collide with an enemy, and the enemy would just be fine. I was like, I guess I should have realized I could just survive that. Like, okay.
And then they just shoot you.
Yeah, and then they just shoot you. So, like, yeah, just stab it in the head and, like, be on with your day. There are definitely times where you have to ride on top of it in order to progress, because it's like a platform. Otherwise, like, you gotta, like, it'll shoot at you if you like let it look at you for long enough. Very annoying. And then next is our favorite, the best enemy, the most annoying piece of shit
ever conceived. Anything.
It's like, this like standing robot bullshit enemy.
Yeah, it just fucking stands there and like it can move a little, but
it doesn't.
They just shoot a wall of laser at you.
Yeah, like a wall as tall as your fucking character, and if you touch it, you die. Right?
You just die because,
and so
obviously
the idea is, and I had to look this up because I died to the first one like 30 times, and I was like, fine, I'll look up how to fucking kill this enemy. What's the easiest way to do it? And so I looked it up. The easiest way to do it was to use the little like deflect ability, the Tempest like, ability, which we haven't talked about. We'll talk about those after this. Whatever. The easiest way to do it is that, which it's on a super long recharge time. So fuck that. How do you do it
Yeah,
normally?
it's like, okay, you got three mechs to kill, and then like you can use that on one of them because it takes fucking years to charge up.
Yeah, it's like a 45-second charge up if you are letting it go as fast as possible. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But how do you do it
Uh,
normally? And I'm like,
Theoretically, you can slide under them when they shoot, but it like the laser moves so fast, you can't.
so yeah, correct. You slide under it. So the idea is you need to be running at them and then you slide under it the exact second that it would hit you, or like just before. But the thing
Yeah.
is since this thing is so wide and they don't just like emit it, right? They aim it at you.
Yeah.
Because if you're up high, they'll shoot it up high. If you know, like it's not like it's
Yeah.
shot out in a radius like an
No.
explosion.
The thing
So
is
if you slide along the ground a little bit early, guess where they'll fucking aim it? In a
they aim it
place that you
down.
can't dodge. That's
Wow.
great design, friends. Why would you do that?
So it's like you have to like be running, and then as they shoot, slide
Under it, yeah.
And it's like you have to do it perfectly. I mean, this is with the rest of this game. You have to do it all perfectly, or you die. Because yeah, as you said, they'll just aim it down as you're sliding and just
And
shoot you, and you can't slide under it.
Yeah. And then like there's no way for you to like go up higher, so they'll shoot up high and then easily duck down under. You
and
just
then also, because you're usually like far enough away from them while you're running at them, you dodge the first one, right? They just shoot a second one at you.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
while
like,
you're like sliding or getting up from a slide, and you don't have any time to do it again.
It occurs to me that maybe you can just hit it with your sword.
What, the laser?
Yeah.
I tried and I couldn't get it to
work.
work.
Really? Okay, then fuck that. Never mind. I was just thinking, I'm like, I never ever tried really at all to like deflect or block bullets with the sword because I found it so inconsistent that it was bullshit. But I never tried to do it with them. So
yeah, I did, and no dice.
Okay, well, good. As long as somebody did, because fuck that.
Agreed.
All right, so next enemy on the docket is, I don't know. It's like a while between enemies.
There's a short part where you get to the snipers, which
yeah.
If you stand in front of them, they're standing their laser for too long, you just get sniped.
Yeah, I want to say it's like literally 2 seconds of time if you stand in their little laser for like 2 seconds. In 2 seconds, it's hit scan. You just die.
This is the hit scan, yeah.
Yeah, it's just hit scan.
That you die. I think the turrets are too.
Turrets are definitely hit scan. And then like I think there's like literally 3 of those in the game because they realized that hit scan was bullshit, so they like thankfully didn't add them in very many places, especially I don't know if this happened to you, since the snipers can move, they can like get up and move. So like I ran at one and got behind him and he moved as I like fumbled jumping onto the platform and like kind of fell off, but then made my way back up. And this motherfucker turned around and like sniped me from point blank range. And I'm like, are you kidding me, right? I got to do this again? You fucking what, mate?
Yeah, that didn't happen to me, but that sounds like actual garbage.
Yeah, it was not a great time.
Yeah, the next one's turrets. They're like, they scan a wide area and just they just end you.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of lines, and if you like touch any of the lines, it's like poof, you die. Okay. Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you got to jump around them and go around pillars where they're hidden, et cetera.
Which like I didn't really have that many issues with them.
Didn't either. I actually when I first saw them, I'm like, oh, okay, this looks easy enough, and then I actually like purposefully took a death to see what happens.
Yeah.
when you
See
go
it
into
like
their
gauge how much time you have in the little lasers,
yeah,
and it's like,
and
oh,
you
it's
have none.
instant.
It's
Oh,
instant. I'm like,
okay.
okay, because the snipers you did have like
2 seconds.
a second or two,
Yeah.
whereas the turrets, it's like you go in there,
It's
you
like,
die.
boop.
Okay, great. Now I know what to expect if I,
Yeah.
manage to mess up.
And
Next
then
one's the Explodey Boys.
okay. So like the second worst enemy in the game, they're these like weird, gross, like human amalgamation things.
They just crawl at
That
you
have
fast.
like fire and explosives on their back, and they crawl on the ceilings and the walls and the floors at you. There's no discernible AI on how they die, but sometimes if you just like jump to another platform, they'll like run into each
They'll
other and explode. It's like, oh,
But sometimes if you run away, they just won't.
follow. Yeah,
They'll they just won't die, but they'll like
they'll just hang out.
try to follow you, and
Yeah.
it's just like, oh great.
So
Okay.
I suspect they were added to various sections because you could see them as timers, to where you had to like you didn't have time to think. You didn't have time to plan. Because if you did that, they would close on you and you'd die. So
Yeah.
you had to like go and die a bunch of times to see the area and where all these exploders are, and then you could like continue.
Yeah.
Because then you'd be like, oh, I'm planning this out in my head and I've got to do this and this and this and this. But yeah, they're not great. I did like bad design. Dislike. I don't mind like timers on puzzles, you know?
Yeah.
But like this was so piss poorly designed because
It was the explosion radius was so big too.
It's not even that. It's that there's no way you can easily take care of them.
Yeah, I mean the best option is Surge, and again that's one of the abilities that has a charge up.
Yeah, it has a
like,
huge.
there's like a million of
charge
these
time.
guys coming after you in different areas of the level, and it's just like you have a surge that's like once every 45 seconds.
Right.
And it's like, okay, yeah, that's not gonna work.
I just wish that there was a way that you can like, if you went across a gap, they would like short out and explode, or like if they followed you for a certain amount of time, they would short out and explode. But like
they did that for the most part.
But it was so inconsistent that you couldn't even use that as a reliable way to deal with them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
The vast majority of enemies, I was like, oh, if I do this, I can usually kill them. And that's the goal of the game. You can tell it's like, it's a game of knowledge and memorization, sort of, where like, if you see a room that has 3 pistol guys and 2 sword guys, you need to figure out a way to deal with
the pistol guys first.
Yeah, you got to deal with the pistol guys first, and then you got to get them away from the sword guys, because
then you have to wait for the sword guys, and if you wait, like if you're running around while trying to kill the sword guys, like you're not gonna hit the parry correctly, and you're just gonna die.
But so like with the explodey guys, they make everything unpredictable, and like that's kind of the death knell for these type of games, where like if things are unpredictable, they become like even less fun.
Yeah, well, because it's a game about like, again, puzzle and a little bit of reaction, right? Where it's repetition. So it's like, if you don't know when these guys are going to explode or not explode, or etc., it just like you have no reaction time.
Yeah, which and
no reliability on what the enemies are going to do.
Not a fan of that.
Anyway, the next one.
The next one of these like really stupid like teleporty guys.
Yeah.
They weren't that bad. I don't know how you felt about them, but I thought they were just stupid because like their AI was like really dumb, like really really dumb.
They were just kind of there. They were in the last few levels, but whatever.
I don't know. They were just really derpy. Like they would sometimes teleport in front of you and then just fucking die. But then sometimes instead of actually shooting, they would
just teleport away from you.
Teleport away, and it's like, oh, okay, well, fuck me then. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Whenever they were there, they weren't really threatening. They were just making everyone else more threatening, which, like, dare I say, is good design. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess just like they were more of a like, what's the word? Like cover fire.
Yeah. Yeah, like they made everyone else like you had to think about them while you were defeating other enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind that. I actually kind of like that. And it's like, oh, it's making you have to think about more things while you're completing the puzzle. And so like
Yeah.
that's nice. I guess.
Yeah, I mean it was okay. The
Yeah.
oh god, I'm glad we didn't meet those enemies.
What?
Those are DLC enemies. Okay, the
Oh,
last one is
the guys that
the
split into
the
5.
splitter. Yeah, those weren't bad. I
Well,
just
they were only
literally
like
go
they
ahead.
were only like handleable in my opinion because you told me their weakness.
I didn't
um
even like they weren't even that hard before I knew the weakness.
I yeah,
I literally just jump into them and like just start swinging
I every time I tried that
and
I
like
died,
dashing.
but
Um,
I
another thing
yeah.
is the copies like bullets don't hurt you.
Oh, really?
Just the main one.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's why.
I noticed that
Yeah,
just from me jumping in there and it's like
I
swinging my sword a lot.
I was just like too concerned with cheesing them with the little
Yeah,
tempest blast to
that's fine.
fucking even
They
try.
they weren't that hard anyway.
Yeah.
I just
Um
started swinging, and after I killed, I dashed. After I
anyway,
killed a copy, I dashed to dodge, and then kept
the way
swinging.
that you kill them is that if you go into your fake bullet time, one of them turns red and that's the real one.
Yeah,
Fancy. Um
I noticed that at the like one of the last few, and I'm like, huh, okay,
oh, interesting.
you
Yeah,
guys
I
weren't
think you
that
told
hard, but now
me.
you're definitely not hard.
I think you told me and it was the last room, so I guess I didn't really have that much time to abuse it, but either way.
Yeah,
Um but yeah, so those are all the enemies. Lots of enemies, which is nice, but also like I think
dog
fuck
shit. I
every
mean, what?
single one of the enemies. um
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so let's talk about the abilities that you get. You get 4 abilities. The first one is like a long dash that you target on enemies,
Uh-huh.
and it just kills them instantly. Uh,
Yeah,
it's
it's like a multi-hit, like you can dash through
yeah.
enemies.
The way they want you to set it up is they want you to like line up a bunch of enemies, but they won't line themselves up, so you've got to like maneuver them in such a way. I never fucking used it.
Nope, never used it. I used it once, exactly once, and I think it was I don't remember what enemy it was against. It might have been against the robot, one of
Maybe
the robots.
they're probably a good
Something, I don't
target
know.
for them, to be honest.
It was
And so
used it
you're probably
exactly once
wondering,
properly.
if you're listening to this, you're probably wondering, Peter, Tim, if they give you these abilities that have a long cooldown and are probably very powerful, why would you never use them? It's like, well, if they give
Um,
you an additional tool for your tool belt, but that tool is harder to use than your regular tool, why would you ever use it?
yeah, like it.
Like
How to put
I could
this?
use
It was
the little like cleave tool, like this long dash to kill an enemy that was bugging me, and I would be fine with that. I didn't because I wanted to find better ways to do things. But like if I used it for that purpose, that would be the only way I could conceive of using it properly,
I mean, I
right?
think that's the one time I used it. Is I used it to like get rid of the one enemy that was killing me over and over. I'm
Yeah,
just like, okay,
basically.
I gotta do something different.
Right.
Um,
The second one is a Tempest Blast.
but
Now
yet
this one I use the most
I didn't use this one at all either.
because I used it on the robots where like they shoot something and you just use it and it bounces it back and kills them. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh, good. Fuck
I
them.
didn't I didn't know that or do that or I just suffered.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to say quick is like the it was almost it's almost yeah, as you said, it's harder to use these abilities. It's because it's like you have to think about them more
Yeah.
than just like dodge and hit or dodge like dash and slash. That's what
It's
it is. It's
yeah,
dash and slash.
it's using an additional puzzle piece
Whereas
to complete the puzzle that you don't need.
where it's like using this ability is like, oh, okay, I gotta figure out how to line these guys up to make the most of it because it only charges every so often. It's like, okay, and then, but like, while you're doing that, you can just like hold shift, go right, and dash forward and slash them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard.
Pretty much.
But I mean,
yeah, no, I agree.
Not hard, but
it adds another layer of like things you have to think about. Not to mention almost none of the enemies are like respondable. Like within a human response time, you can't use it to like turn around and kill something, right?
Yeah.
And so like even if you could, this would be the time you could use like a dash attack like this, but you can't. So it's pointless. It's just another thing to think about. And the less you have to think in this game, the better it is.
Because
and you got to think a lot.
There's already like 4 guys shooting at you that you need to dodge while killing one of them and dodging that one you're killing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just not a great time.
And once you're done killing that guy, you have to continue to dodge the other bullets after that.
And so you've got to do it perfectly or else you got to start over again. So fuck.
Okay. So
so the what the hell is it called? Tempest? Yeah, Tempest Blast. It just does like an AoE in front of you that kills everything, and it will
so long as it's in range.
Yeah, within range. It's pretty short range. It will reflect bullets.
I definitely tried to use it a few times.
And you were out of range.
Like they were just like nothing happened.
Yeah, that sucks.
Because like the animation is bigger than the range. Because like you actually shoot out like a visual like wave.
Of like a blast wave, yeah.
Yeah, and like I would shoot it out and then it would just go towards them and like go through them, and I'm like, well, fuck, and I die.
Great, thanks.
And then it's like, okay, I guess I wasn't in range, but except it still hit them. All right, cool. And then I just never used it again.
Basically. Okay. Third is a like little sword cut blast thingy. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, it's like a ranged. It's like a
It throws like a line of laser at them in a sword cut motion, and it kills anything, which is great because sometimes, like very rarely, but sometimes you can get a thing where the enemies will not see you, and you can just like shoot them and they will die. And it's like, nice. And then you just like, you continue on with your life. I'm thinking of one room in particular towards the end where there were like 3 robots walking around. They had sword guys covering them, and they all had shields. Oh, right. We forgot about the shields. Holy shit. Oh,
yeah, the shields. Of course.
Anyway, okay, so there's shield guys that like, they're like little orbs that stand in place.
It's like a little orb that just is in a different location that you got to kill, that are like shielding other enemies.
It's not really that. It's not really whatever. You just gotta. It's like you gotta kill them first to even start the puzzle. It's very annoying.
Yeah, and also sometimes when like it's like a long run on the wall to even get to them, and then you're like, once you start over, you're like, well, I gotta do that again. Yeah. Fucking long part of the puzzle first.
So this room was like you had to run up a wall, like you tethered up to the wall, you run along the wall, you had to hit 2 orbs.
The exact one you're talking about.
Yeah, and so the first robot I could easily like drop down on, and then there was a robot in a room, and I said, no, fuck that, and I threw a light blade thingy at him, and he died. And then another one, I was like, I'm just gonna wait for this to recharge.
Like a sword beam, basically.
And so I just sat there for like a minute playing on my phone. Is it charged yet? Nope. Okay. Is it charged yet? Nope. Okay.
Speaking of this charge, I think there is like a few like things you can equip that make it charge faster, because it also charges, I think, when you kill things too.
We will get to that, but let's talk about the final thing. Okay. The final thing is you can hack the brain of an enemy, and they'll just fire at other enemies.
Yeah.
And like, that's great. Probably the most useful of all of the abilities that you get to use for like exactly 4 rooms.
I didn't even think about using it ever.
I used it. There was this one like really long rectangular room that had grappling points multiple spots up the wall, down the wall, wherever, and it was just full of fucking like machine gunmen and then robots flying.
Hmm.
Do you remember that one? Like near the very end.
Think so.
But anyway, I basically, like, you can see a machine gunner. I just mind controlled him. He killed everybody, and then I went and I killed the robots myself. And then he was by himself, so I killed him. Like literally, it
Yeah.
was that easy.
Yeah, I
At
didn't.
one end, it had one of the slowdown abilities zones.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I didn't use that ability at all.
yeah. I just used it a couple of times. It was actually fairly useful. But you get it for like 4 rooms, so that's fun.
Didn't even care.
So yeah, those are the 4 abilities that you get as a Ghostrunner. There's a skill tree sort of thing in the
Sort of
game.
a
You
skill
press
tree. It's more
T,
of like a
and you have to like
like
assemble a Tetris
it's more of a like a badge equip.
Yeah, agreed. You like assemble these like Tetris blocks in the free space in order to get the abilities associated with each Tetris block. And
Yeah,
like, since I was on a save that was fully done, right?
you just had them all.
I didn't touch them out of like principle because I didn't know it was unlocked when.
Yeah, fair.
The only thing I put on was I put on the thing that you get like immediately, which is a double dash, and then you also get the
Oh
thing
yeah.
that outlines the enemies. I kept
Oh,
those on the whole game.
speaking of the double dash, you can't dash the second time in the air.
No.
I put that on at the beginning, found that out after testing it. And I'm like, why can't I dash again in the air? What the fuck? And I'm like, okay, this is worthless. I don't want this.
Well, it's really nice if you're running
It's
on the
nice
ground
if you're on the ground.
away
Yeah,
from explodey guys, and
I get
that's,
that. I put it back on later because because then I
it
also
was
had the
actually
one.
useful.
Well, yeah, because I had to use it against the robots.
Yeah.
Because then I also had the one at that point that was like your dash charges faster, or it like comes back faster.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I put both of those on, and then I could dash at the robots before they shot a second.
Yeah, because like really, like we said, the best tool is the one that you get at the start, and that's just your like hit. And so enabling yourself to move around better is like way better than any other bullshit.
I don't know if you would remember this room, but there was a room. It had like 2 robots up at the front. 3 of the shield guys being covered by a shield orb.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then there was 2 other guys up on like the left ledge, and then up on the like high ledge there were 2 sword guys and a shield orb protecting the pistol guys.
Yep.
Okay. That room is the room where I got stuck in the wall.
Oh really? Oh my god.
Yeah, the area like right under the where the sword guys are, I somehow like jumped and like dashed and climbed into the wall. Like on the like little doorway. And I'm like, which like absolutely sucked because
that was a very annoying room.
It was a very annoying room, and I had already spent like 20 minutes on it, and I had finally killed everything but the one shield guy.
Ugh.
And then I did that, and I got stuck because all the collision is two-sided.
Yeah, very stupid.
And I couldn't get out, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just see where this like what happens here.
And you jumped out into the abyss.
I actually fell.
Yeah.
I was messing around trying to get back in, and I fell off. And yeah, I just fell for like 30 seconds before I finally hit a death zone.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Great game, thanks.
Then I did it again and again and again, and finally
until you
got
finally
through
beat
the room.
Yeah. So that's it for the abilities. Oh, it's worth mentioning the less little like Tetris blocks you have equipped, the faster your abilities will recharge. So that's a thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't care about that because I didn't use them.
Stupid. Yeah. And so The other thing that's worth mentioning is there are like these little like power up
They're like
zones.
pickups,
Yeah.
basically.
And so like just to
One's
go over
like a
those really quick, it's like one slows down time for real.
yeah.
One allows you to throw shurikens because
Mhm.
obviously you're a ninja. Why wouldn't you throw shurikens?
Yeah.
This was primarily used to throw at little like spots on the
Like
wall
power spots to open doors and
to
shit.
open doors. Yeah,
They
it
they can kill
was.
enemies too, which was very useful in one of the levels later with the explodey guys.
Yeah, there was like one level that you got to use it against the explodey guys. It was very uh, fortunate, but also fucking stupid.
Yeah, whatever. There was one that's like a huge jump,
Yeah,
and then
I think that's
what
it.
was the last one? There was a fourth one, wasn't there?
Nope, I don't think so. That's it.
Could have sworn there was a fourth one.
I don't believe so.
Well,
No.
okay.
But yeah. So those are all those. I think we've covered like the vast majority of the gameplay in this game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts in this game. And like so much so that it actually just like subtracts. You get to a point where it just like it subtracts and subtracts and subtracts and subtracts, and it makes the game like not fun. Um, like we said in the earlier, an hour ago when we started this, we both enjoy speedrun games, especially whenever you like beat a level and it makes you pumped to go to the next
Yeah.
one, right? We both love the type of games where you're just like crushing through enemies and you're having a great time, or like an enemy is really well designed and you've got a really punchy gun and you're like, bang, I killed you. And they're like, no, you didn't. And you go, oh shit, no, I didn't. You've got to defeat them, right? All these things
Yeah.
that Severed Steel did that this game doesn't, right?
Yeah.
And I will highlight the one difference between these games that is the reason why you can like Severed Steel and hate this game. You know, you want to know what it is?
I of course want to know what it is.
Iframes.
Yes.
When you run on the wall in Severed Steel, you have like essentially iframes, but not really, right? You have like a little bit of invulnerability for like a second.
I think, didn't you have a dash in Severed Steel too, which was true iframes?
Yeah, but you couldn't use it that often. But the thing is that like in that game, if you were like taking hits, you're probably gonna die anyway, right? And so you had to abuse this actual bullet time, and then move out of the way in order to survive.
Yeah.
This game,
in that game also, you could actually like take a few hits before you died too. So there was like forgiveness.
but like
in
I
this
could
game,
still see games where like if you took a hit in Severed Steel, right? You would, and it killed you in one hit like it does in Ghostrunner. You like it would still be fair because you have tools against it.
If I remember correctly, there might have been a mode in Severed Steel that did that.
Oh, most likely a
hardcore
mode. Yeah, no, I'm pretty
sure.
wrong.
Oh, speaking of hardcore mode, if you beat the game, in this game, Ghostrunner, you unlocked hard mode, and I took one look at that, and I'm like, nah, fuck that, I'm out, and I shut
I'm
the game
uninstalling immediately.
I immediately turned the game off. I'm like, no, thank you.
But yeah,
it said enemies are harder, or like later enemies are in the
earlier levels.
early levels, and the levels are changed up a bit. And I'm like,
yeah, fuck
no.
that.
No.
Yeah, no. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The iframes make the game
iframes
so much more fun. Like
the
actually
iframes
fun.
And the like damage forgiveness, I think is
but that's what I'm saying is like even the damage forgiveness, I can understand the game being a little bit harder as Ghostrunner where you're only melee, you're not ranged. You have this no damage forgiveness, but like you also don't have real bullet time. You have fake bullet time. So it's not like you have a proper tool to beat these enemies. If like there were definitely some enemies that just straight up fucking ignored it, right? Where like you go into dodge and they just kill you. And it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, all right. I guess I can't use that on them. Like the machine gun guys, where like if you went into the slow mode with them, they just like looked up and you died. It's like,
if you dodge left or right, like the amount of bullets would still kill you.
Yeah.
Because you can't like dash into them because they're just like they got like a blanket of bullets around them.
Yeah. So that's my thing. If you wanted to make your game better, you need to add some way of preventing damage or whatever. And like I say this with full knowledge that if you go into the game option, you can set 2-hit mode. Did you know that?
I did know that. Actually, I did notice that.
You can set it to where
I didn't turn it on because
no, I didn't either.
Like I probably should have, honestly.
No.
If that,
I need
like,
to.
cause like
I need to
like I
experience the game
understand
how they want me to.
It's the game how they want you to, but like the amount of frustration I got at the end because of how I'm saying I disliked the like lack of forgiveness on the hits. I should have turned it on. It probably would have made a lot of it a little better for me.
Well, and the other like part, because they called it accessibility mode, which is just like the most insulting fucking shit I've ever seen.
The most insulting shit I've ever
just
heard.
Make your game better. I don't understand. Like and if you are like having people complain about it so much that you want to like give in to their complaints and make a quote unquote accessibility mode, don't make it. Just don't make it. Just stick with your guns, be like fucking FromSoft, and say if you don't like our games because they're too hard for you, get good.
Get good or don't play.
The problem is your game's difficult because it's designed to be like unfun. Its design is unfun. Whereas like a lot of bosses in Dark Souls, guess what? They're actually pretty fun once you learn how the game works. Yeah. Now, Dark Souls 2, fuck that game. But like, you know what I mean? You understand?
Yeah.
Their whole design is like shit is hard, and so you've got to like make it work.
It's hard but fair though.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part. Like there are ways you can like you get actual like no damage when you dodge in Dark Souls.
Yeah, that's true.
The iframes.
Yeah, iframes.
Surprise!
They're back. Anyway, I'm done with gameplay. If you're done with gameplay,
yeah, that's fine.
Let's talk about the music briefly, and then we'll just like skim through the story because like yeah. So
music was okay.
The music was probably the best part of this game.
Yeah, super hype. You said the graphics.
Well, yeah, I mean the graphics are also quite good, but like looks and sound wise, this game is like super good.
Yeah,
like dubstep, hard
dubstep / like cyberpunk music.
Yeah, cyberpunk,
metal,
EDM,
etc. Just like all at once.
Really hard pumping, like really good hype music, basically.
Because I mean, like, it's good music to get you like pumped up for all this fast paced, like action. You know? It did really well.
It's really annoying that they squandered this amazing soundtrack on this game, because it's not a very fast paced game. It is, but it's not, and I'll tell you why. Every time you have to go into quote bullet time, the game slows down, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a Severed Steel comparison again. Every time you went into bullet time in Severed Steel, the game didn't slow down. In fact, that was the most action part of the game because that was the part of the game where you were actually like doing the most work, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with this, it's like
Severed Steel again.
Yeah, right. Just to wash this game out of this game's taste out of my mouth. Fuck. Like every time you had to slow down to go kill an enemy, it's literally slowing down the pace of the game. And that you do it too many times in a quick succession, it just makes the game like feels like you're getting like flicked in the nose every time you do it. It's really annoying.
Yeah. It's also the game also had a lot of like just parkour sections.
Well, yeah. So the reason why they had just parkour sections is for story purposes.
Yeah, that's true. They had to do exposition.
But this is another pacing thing, right?
I guess it also was a like a little bit of a break from the combat.
Yeah. Which it's fine. Like
it was fine.
Those sections I thought were fine.
The sections that weren't fine were the fucking boring cybervoid ones.
Yeah, which are like these like puzzles that are like really easy, but like really annoying. I don't know how to describe it
Like,
other than that they didn't really feel like they should be in the game.
they just broke the like whole immersion of the game.
Yeah.
Like even without us like hating on the game the whole time.
Yeah.
It just felt like they weren't. It's like they put puzzles in their puzzle game. Wow.
Yeah. I heard you, yo dog, I heard you like puzzles.
We'll put a different kind of puzzle in this puzzle game and say, okay, yeah, this is fine.
Well, and like sometimes it would be like, oh, here's a traditional puzzle where like every time you click the button, all 3 balls rotate. But if you unhook this ball from this ball, that ball will not rotate. And so you've got to figure out how to line them up so that you rotate them all at once so that the lines inside the balls go and connect to it. It's like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just doing like traditional puzzles then.
Yeah, and then the next ones were like, oh, this is just a maze.
Yeah, this is but it's not just a maze because sometimes you walk through the door and like, oh, the hallway is infinite. It's like, oh, but then if you take 3 steps backwards,
you just turn around.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's
and then
it's done.
the like doors that connect to each other, and you gotta find all the.
Well, those had numbers on them.
Anyway, it was like some. Yeah, I didn't notice that till like halfway through.
Yeah.
Me trying to figure it out. Then there was like weird parkour sections, but this parkour section sucked because you didn't have your dash or any other abilities.
Yeah.
You could just run on walls, so you just had to like jump.
Yep.
Really boringly. And it like okay, why?
The final.
Why can't I do any of the cool shit that I could do outside?
I will give it like the modicum of charity about these crappy parkour sections. If you could see where you were going, it was great. But the problem is in order to make it difficult, they made it so you couldn't see where you were going. Or you didn't know where you were going next.
The platforms would appear as you went.
Yeah, and so in order to make it difficult, they just ramped that up. Sometimes it was like, oh, you got launched up a place that you can't. It's like the pitch black, and then you got to land somewhere, but you got to figure out where to land in a split second. Oh, you died. Oh, do it again, but you know where you're going this time. It's like that's not fun, game. Fuck you.
And the last like sequence after
the
final boss was just painful.
Fucking brutal. Like it was the entire jank of the run on wall system combined with the jank of dashing into a wall with the jank of like the cyber void-ness.
Yeah,
and then add on top of that, everything's moving.
The hitboxes of the walls were not where the walls were.
Yeah. Well, everything's moving, so
and
like
if you don't physically jump off the wall, you just fall.
Yeah. And sometimes you would half jump off the wall, and so then you just fall.
And then you would have to like try and recover and dash into the next wall. But of course.
Yeah. But of course. And then there was
all janky and it didn't work.
And then there was their attempt at like Frogger / Bullet Hell. But the thing about like Frogger and Bullet Hell is that you can see Bullet Hell only works because you have an above view. Otherwise it's not fun because you can't see what's coming.
That shit was just RNG. You just had to fucking try until you got it.
Yep, pretty much. And I got there on my second try, and then I jumped on the little bounce pad, and it sent me into the void. And I was like, what? And so then I spent like 20 minutes trying to beat it again until I did. And I jumped on the other side, and it sent me where I was going. I'm like, so did I go to the fake side? Like, is this just like a fuck you moment? I don't understand.
When I finally got there, I guess got the right one. I got the one on the right. And
I jumped on the one on the right the first time, and it just like
I don't know,
sent me into the void, and I was like,
maybe it didn't work.
Like
something.
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever. It fucking sucks.
It doesn't matter.
I know that.
The cyber void we both can agree is not necessary.
Yeah.
The game has pacing issues.
This was supposed to be
The
on
music while you're listening to these
gameplay.
pacing issues, really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
The voice acting in this game is like stellar,
Yeah.
like amazing, like some of the best voice acting. But the problem is that like during these times where there is good voice acting, you're doing this parkour, and then like instead of it being like really easy jumping around, like you will still die because like you're going someplace where you don't see, like I said, and you just die.
See, or like you miss a hook to grapple to or something.
Yeah.
While you're jumping off a wall, and you're like, oh well, shit. And then like, well, if the, which I guess this is a nice thing, if the whoever was talking at the time of you dying, when you respawn, they'll restart their sentence. But
yeah, but
that
what
makes
I'm saying
sense.
is like it breaks up the like story, because like if you get stuck on a parkour section, like it won't continue without you, which is good, but you need it all at once. Like this is all exposition. This is all like
once they
important
stop talking, once they have their like finished talking under this during the section they're supposed to be still talking, they just stop a while until you get to the next section.
Yeah. And if you spend a long time in the sections, like sometimes you do in the later sections, it's like, I forgot what we were talking about, guys. What you gotta like, what's going on? Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but either way, the music and the sound design in this game really, really fucking good. All the enemies make unique sounds, so you can identify them by hearing, which is another very, very positive thing.
Didn't do that.
Didn't do that, yeah. But yeah.
I just fucking looked with my eyes.
We're an hour and 15 or so minutes in. Let's like blast through this story, and then give it a rating and like shoot that shit directly into the toilet, because that's where this game belongs. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, how the fuck does this game start?
The game starts with you.
Oh wait, okay, hang on. Actually,
you fighting
it starts before the game starts. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's an opening it's an opening cinematic before you even press play. And you're like, it's like showing off that you're this like cool ninja, like slashing people in half. There's blood and guts everywhere. Like, destruction. Your sword is like slicing through molecules and shit. And you're like running on walls and jumping and parkouring and cutting through people with guns, and you only have swords. And then you finally make it up into like the top of this tower, and then there's like, you see a dead guy. You're like, oh no, not a dead guy. And then it like kind of pans over to see this guy standing next to a woman, and the woman is like scratched out or whatever. And then you look up, and this woman that is scratched out, you can like easily tell it's her because she's wearing the same exact suit as in the picture, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
You see her, and she's got like Dr. Octopus arms, which is like, oh no, cybernetic arms. It's like, it's cyberpunk. Look at how cool we are. And then you like fight with her for a little bit, and you kind of kick her ass a little, and then she goes, I'm done fighting with you. And she presses a button on a little keyboard,
she, like, throws you out
and like knocks you out, because you're a robot. And of course she has the like
kill switch.
Yeah, the kill switch on your.
Say that several times.
Yeah. And so then she like picks you up by the head and throws you out the window after tearing your arm off. Cool. That's the intro of the game. It's like, Ghostrunner, you don't have a human arm anymore. Okay, great.
Yep. Thanks.
Cool. And so you get like launched into the game. You wake up, and it's like this guy talking to you, and is like, oh, like, welcome back. You lived. I'm so happy. I'm gonna have to like pull up my. It's been like so short, but so long since I even started this stupid game.
I'm glad you lived. That these like rebels managed to repair you. I mean, they did a bad job, but you know.
But you're alive.
You're alive.
You can like serve my purposes.
And then
you're like,
he
all right.
tells you how to do things and
yeah, you
stuff
go
like
through the
that. And you're like,
tutorial and
go back up and go find all the cyber void things so we can get your programming back.
yeah.
And
So
then
we
we can go
can kill
kill
that
the
like
Doctor Octopus lady. Her
that
name was
lady
Mara.
who's like taking over my city, because obviously it's my city and I'm the one
Yeah,
who
I'm the architect.
yeah, I'm the architect, I'm the one who like made it up and blah blah
Um,
blah blah. It's like, okay, all right, cool.
okay, quick question. This is spoilers, by the way, if you
Yeah, as it
don't
normally is
wanna
with the
listen to
story
this.
section.
Um, how far into the game did you realize that the architect was gonna betray you?
Like, I don't know, minute 5. Like, this man
Yeah.
throws up red flags like he breathes air. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, he like, if somebody's lying to you, they're
I
gonna
mean,
come up to you and tell you the most detailed story, right?
it was basically when, like, what's her name started talking, which was, like, a
That's
few
like the
levels
end of the
in.
game. What do you mean?
No, not
Oh,
Mara, it was,
not
uh,
Mara,
the the, um,
the rebel girl.
the rebel lady, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're like
it was,
going
like,
along, and like I want to say, because there's 17 little chapters in this story. I want to say like it's like
17 too many.
it's like chapter like 6 or 7. You hear this like distress call,
I don't
and
think it was
she's
that
like,
late.
I'm sorry.
I thought it was, like, level 3 because
Oh really?
I'd gotten it way before. I don't know.
I think it's pretty. I don't know about that.
I thought it was pretty early because, like, you have to go help her, like, save the section that Mara, like, cuts the air off to or something.
Yeah. But anyway,
You gotta do all
she's
that, which is all like,
she's a
ugh.
part of a rebel group called the Climbers, and like she's like, hey, yeah, we were the ones who repaired you. Oh man, your name is Jack. And he's like, why is my name Jack? Because you were jacked up. The guy who was
When we
repairing you
found
said you
you.
were pretty jacked up when we found you. It's like, wow, that's a bad name.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
sure.
All right, I guess I'm Jack now. And the architect's like, ah man, she's useless, you should leave her alone. And you're like,
You're like,
but
"Why?"
why? Like, she's helping me, so I'm gonna help her. And she's like, oh god, like the big bad guy is
They're
cutting
cutting
is
off the
it's
air,
like
they're turning
pumping
off the
gas into
filters.
this, yeah, destroying the filters. So it's like pumping gas into this like
It's
habitable
like
zone.
toxic outside air, I think is what it
Yeah,
was.
and so you're like, don't worry, I'll get them back on. And so like you go do that, and it's like, oh no, the architect's mad because you got distracted from his plan. It's like, oh, so
Well,
you're using me.
fuck
Like,
off then.
it's so obvious. I don't understand why we have to pretend. Like, we get it. You're like, we're following your lead because you were the voice in our head when we woke up.
Yeah.
um
If Mara was the voice in our head, we would be
we
doing
would
what
be
she wanted.
following her because that's just how this shit works.
Yeah.
Um
Fucking whatever.
yeah, and so
At
like
the end, I'm like, "Ah, fuck it, just kill them both, honestly,
you
fuck
keep
this
going,
place."
uh and like there's a lot of needless exposition in this game. I'm gonna be honest. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fluff because like whenever you're sitting in the crowd watching a magic show, um you don't see a lot of the things that are happening behind the veil. It's a
Yeah.
lot of misdirection with the left hand while the right hand is doing stuff, right?
Yep.
And so that's all this game is for like many chapters. It's the architect like making up some shit to tell you as you go through a level, or making excuses about some shit as you go through the levels, and then like you get to a point where you're like, oh, well, I've got to fight this boss. Oh, it's a pillar of fucking lasers. Okay, so you like
Yep.
jump around and do that, and then
That is something we didn't touch on in gameplay, the
I was
bosses.
figured we'd talk about it here.
Okay,
The
okay.
first boss is a pillar of lasers, and basically it's a timing puzzle all the way through, and you just have to
What was
keep
what
timing
was the
it.
purpose of that pillar of
I'm
lasers
pretty
again?
sure it was defending the um
Was it defending the, like, server room or something?
yeah, something like that. It was some crucial spot that it was defending. It might have been the filter room. I don't remember. I think
Oh,
it
it
was
might have
related.
been. Yeah, I don't know. It
Um
fucking sucked, I know that.
yeah, it was really stupid. You like climb up and there are lasers like it's a big circular room, so like
Oh,
you're in a
and then
giant cylinder, and then there's
once they
lasers going.
once they like pumped fire onto the ground, like it would like raise up into the sky, and you had no time to like cling to a wall and jump off of it before the fire got you.
Yeah,
It
like
was
I
some
said,
bullshit.
it was just this big timing puzzle. It was very annoying.
It was
I hated
some
it.
bullshit.
Um,
I hated it too.
and so you're going along, and like this girl, this climber girl, is like helping you, telling you like actually true information, and every single
Like,
time she tells you a thing, the architect gets like further annoyed and agitated, and is like, "Oh, she's worthless. She's gonna die soon. Why do you
why is
care about
she?
her?" Oh, I don't know, because I'm a human being who has
I
feelings,
don't
and
know
so is she.
because
Like, I don't understand, man.
and
What's your
because I
freaking problem?
wanna, dude.
Um,
Like, what's the issue?
and so like
I thought you were all
eventually,
for the humans, you know?
yeah, exactly. He's like, I was the one who is going to push the
Helping
human race
humanity and et
survive or
cetera,
whatever. I
blah de
don't know.
blah. Get fucked.
Um, yeah, basically. And then like there's one point where she's like, "Oh, I'm tracking this other signal. It's similar to yours. You should watch out." And then you like get to a train area, and you're like running along, and
I guess one of the neat things is that train area, when you go on top of the trains, you gotta, like, dodge the signs, and, I did notice that at the end point, when you're doing the, like, cyber void bullshit, there was that kinda stuff there, and I'm like, "Oh, this is foreshadowing/training for this."
I guess
Maybe not foreshadowing,
whatever.
but, like,
Yeah, I
it's like,
understand what
"Oh,
you're
I
saying.
remember this. I did this on the train. I can do this.
Yeah.
Easy."
Um,
The other
yeah.
parts in that was anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so then it ends up being like another Ghost Runner, sort of, which I assume that
Yeah,
Hell is her name, is an actual
hell,
Ghost
yeah.
Runner.
I'd assume so,
Even
but, like,
though
built by
the
Mara and also,
well,
like,
no,
inferior.
hang on, because it's revealed later on. Spoiler. This is all spoilers. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Spoiler. Mara created all of the Ghost Runners. She's the one
yeah,
that was the person who made them, and then the architect is the one who took them over. That was revealed at the very end.
yeah,
And
think
so
so.
I'm assuming that Hell is just a Ghost Runner that she was able to like get control of again.
Yeah, I guess so.
And so because she has like the exact same weapon as you, she has the exact same like
Oh,
protocols as you.
except she can shoot sword beams.
She can shoot short
That's
beams.
where you get that
Also,
ability
a
when you
notable
kill
difference, she can take 3 hits instead of 1.
her. Ooh,
That's a lot, dude. Come
that is a
on.
lot, dude. Unbelievable.
Um
Also, that
Hell
boss fight,
boss, probably the best boss fight, to be honest.
you say that, it's funny because it was just a glorified QuickTime event.
It was a glorified QuickTime event, but that's how I
And it
like
was
my shitty boss fights, dude. Leave me
it was a
alone.
it was the best boss fight, and it was just a fucking
Oh.
glorified QuickTime event.
Yeah, it was
Ugh,
literally like she's gonna swing her sword and you just deflect it and you just
you
keep
just have
doing that
to
over and
time
over.
it every time until, like, her shield goes down, and then you just hit her, and then she jumps off somewhere and throws sword beams at you, and
Yeah,
you
and
have
then
to
you just do that
dodge and,
3 times and that's it.
like, go at her
Yeah.
and then do it again.
And then you chop her head
Ugh.
off and you jack into her brain, which sounds really gross now that I'm saying it out loud, but you plug into her brain with your brain and then you use
I mean, I understood because
the
Cyberpunk
void.
2077 is what they call it
Yeah,
in that
the little like void shitty puzzles again, and
Cyber
then
Void. Ugh.
you go through that and you get the little sword
You
cutting
get the
laser beam
sword beam.
technique.
Oh,
Um,
wait. And yeah,
and then you
you
continue
just
forward. You
do
go
the tutorial
outside
for it,
into the
etc.
city, and like you progress through the city. There's still more like shitty commentary all around, and the architect is telling you about his grand vision and how he's gonna like help humanity and how he's the best person ever. And the climber girl is telling you how like all of her friends got killed and murdered and it was a bad time. And Mara's the key holder, I think is what they called
Yeah.
her.
Yep.
Is like killing everybody, and how she's like her family is like a victim to all this violence, and that's the reason why she's doing what she does, even though she's the last one, is because it's like really important to like her life and her legacy to do that, yada yada yada. And like it's just it's so much fluff, you know? I
Yeah.
like I just played the last half of it, and all I remember is that like none of this shit matters because we fought Mara, and then you know you finally get to the end, you fight Mara, and I guess there's some reveal at some point that like he had the world's greatest scientists, and then like Mara squandered all of this brilliance in one place by like trying to turn them into the next step in the evolutionary process. And then like in the very next room, he reveals about how he was planning to do the exact same thing, but she did it first.
Yeah.
And it's like oh, like okay.
Yeah. Like sure, dude.
And
Whatever.
then you fight Mara, and she like her boss fight is really fucking stupid because like she can only use one of her little like Dr. Octopus tentacles to hit you at one time. And they do the like Dark Souls, like I'm gonna hesitate before I hit you so that if you jump at the wrong time, you land and get hit. It's like,
I mean, at least it was like at least it wasn't a quick time event, so it was like technically a real boss fight.
Yeah, I guess so. But like it's really annoying because whenever they do
still,
that like
yeah.
little hesitate bullshit, it's like
the wind up.
Yeah, it's like the developers thumbing their nose at you every time that happens, because every time you get caught by it, it's like, okay, so it's like you don't want to do anything for real, you just want to fuck with me. I get it. Okay.
Gotcha. It's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. So you eventually kill Mara. She dies. You like stab her in the throat. She goes, "Oh no, you made the wrong choice." And she bleeds out. Okay. And then like basically as soon as this happens, the architect is like, "You've done it. You did it. All right, now surrender control of your body to me." And you're like, "What?" It's like, yes. I was the villain the whole time, and you get sent into the like fucking netherverse to do the final traverse up the fucking hill where that
cybervoid, where the guy's like standing.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, this like wall of death is chasing you.
Yeah. And he's like, "Why don't you just go in there and die so that I can have this body and I will lead us to the glorious future?" And it's like,
and you're like,
no.
Nah.
And so you climb up and you stab him, and then he dies, and
you also die because
he's like,
for some reason you are connected to the cybervoid, and when you killed the cybervoid, you also died.
Yeah, and whatever. So like, I guess nothing matters, you know. At some point, the climber girl gets a distress call from another climber signal, and you're like, "Don't answer that, it's a trap." And she's like, "I have to." And you're like, "No." And she's like, "I'm gonna goodbye." And she like hangs up the phone, and
you like never hear from her.
And then you never hear from her again. It was so weird because whenever she does that, she's like basically saying goodbye as if she knows she's gonna die by answering this call, instead of just not fucking answering it, you know? Like, wait till all this is over. I'm like 5 steps away from the big bad boss. Wait for me to kill her first, and then you can figure it out. But no.
Yeah, no, she just leaves.
She's just like, "All right, bye. Love you."
Manages to stay alive because, like, after you kill the architect, she's the one talking at the like end cutscene.
Yeah, she does live. But
so it's like, yeah, whatever, it worked out.
It's like,
but,
okay,
like, still,
so
like,
humanity's gonna survive, so it's fine.
They'll do whatever.
It's like, okay, so you know,
as we do.
In the end, you're like a sacrifice to
human spirit.
You're a sacrifice to conserve the human race from both of these villains who were trying to like malform them in their own way, right? Yeah. And so like, great. You did it. I'm so happy for you. And then the game just ends. And it's like, okay, well, the game didn't really make me feel things.
Get me out of here.
I don't, yeah. It made me feel mad. I didn't really like enjoy the story. There was a lot
No.
of like pointless details that didn't really enhance my um experience. Um
No. Didn't. It just kind of was talking,
yeah, like I said,
like
it was just
meaningless talking.
so much fluff that like I don't even remember any of the shit that happened because like it
Nope.
didn't fucking matter, you know?
Yeah, I know. I
And
don't
so
remember any
like
of it, and I played it this morning.
it's so awkward. Like we talk about so many things on this podcast, right? We talk about at least four things. We talk about music, we talk about graphics, we talk about story, and we talk about gameplay in varying orders, right?
Yeah,
That's our
yeah,
formula. Okay.
yeah.
And very often I talk about how you can have a game with amazing gameplay and shit story or no story and it will be a good time,
It would
right?
be a great
You
game.
have a
Yeah,
great like gameplay loop and you'll have fun.
yeah.
Or
Or
you can
or
have a
you know,
very
like
simple gameplay loop,
like
an
uh,
amazing story.
great gameplay loop with bad graphics, and it'll be a good game
Yeah.
and a good story. It's like you have to have, but I don't think you can be. It can be the other way around. Like if you have bad gameplay loop, I guess if you have a bad gameplay loop and a good story, then it's still works out.
Yeah, it
Like
still
still
tends
a
to
pretty
work
okay
out.
game.
Or like a very lacking gameplay. You know,
Yeah.
like if we're being real, something like Undertale, the story is so good and the like the personality of the characters and the the way that everything gets driven along, the gameplay doesn't matter,
No,
you
I mean,
know?
there's not very much of it,
Right. And so
although.
like who cares?
Yeah,
The music is so good in that game that you
music
don't
is
care about other things.
phenomenal.
And
Um,
so that's what I'm saying is like this game, it had graphics, right? It had good
yeah,
music and good graphics, but it was
mhm.
lacking on the two fundamental,
The 2
most
other
important
things
things that make a
that
game good
that have to be one or the other
that
to
you
be
need
a
at
good
least
game.
one of them.
Yeah, the
Like
music,
honestly,
like, if you don't have either of those, you just throw the music and the
just
graphics in the
yeah,
trash.
throw it away. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
And so like this game scores super duper low because gameplay was shit, story was shit.
Yeah, I
That's it.
mean,
That's all there is to it. I don't know how else to tell. Like I said way back, like 40 minutes ago or however long it was. If you got arguments as to why this game is good in your opinion,
please let us know.
it tell me why you liked it. If you disagree with me, please tell me in the comment section because I like this is one of those games that gets heavily reviewed well, and I
Yeah,
think that these people are just wrong. I don't agree.
I mean,
So
I don't know,
yeah,
unless we see it wrong somehow, but still, like, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
Let
All
us
right.
know if you have any comments. I know one person who probably would if they listen all the
That's
way
fine.
through. But
We'll talk to him. That's fine.
um yeah, so what do you rate it?
I'm gonna rate this game a 4.
Okay, that's
Being
higher than I thought it
generous.
was going to be.
I'm being
I
very generous because the
was
graphics
gonna
and
do
music
like,
were quite good.
yeah,
Um,
I was gonna do like a 3
yeah. I don't think that it's like 1 or
because
2 because
like
like the story is it's not very good, but it's like
it's not very engaging. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it's not very engaging. That's
at
right.
least it had a story.
Yeah. But like the
I'm glad
gameplay
for that.
drags this game so far down that like the graphics and music and the past like
Honestly,
they
if they gave this game like the iframes you said and like a few less abilities to like make them like, good,
yeah.
um it would go much higher.
Yeah. I agree.
Because like if they just made it a little bit more simple, a
Or
little
just
simpler.
like give you real bullet time at the beginning. I don't understand why you get
Yeah,
fake bullet time. It's bullshit.
yeah,
Anyway, I don't
maybe,
want to talk about this game anymore.
yeah, that's fair.
It's hour and 40-minute podcasts.
Yeah,
I'm over it.
yep.
I'm gonna go do something else.
All
Um
right.
yeah. 4 from me, 3 from him.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all there is. The next game that we're playing is Turnip Boy Robs a Bank.
Turnip Boy Robs a Bank.
The sequel to Turnip Boy commits tax evasion, which was a fantastic game. So I'm hoping that
that game checked all the boxes.
Yeah, for real. I'm hoping that Turnip Boy Robs a Bank hits a similar chord and it blows us away just as well.
I hope so.
But yeah, so join us next week for that. But until then, don't go buy this game. Would not recommend.
Get it for free. Play it. See if you have an opinion on it.
If you like it, please enjoy. But no. I'm glad that you did. Anyway,
see you guys next week.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.